All right, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to get us kicked off for today's Commute University. For those who haven't met me yet, my name is Tara Peters. I am Commute Seattle's Communications Director. We're really excited to have you be joining us today for a timely webinar on how to save money with Vanpool. Before we dive into today's topic, we're just going to introduce Commute Seattle if you are not familiar with our work. For over 20 years, Commute Seattle has worked to make our region more affordable, sustainable, and connected by making it easier to walk, bike, ride, and roll to and through Seattle. We work with transportation coordinators at 500 companies and properties across the city and help them implement world-class transportation programs that help 350,000 people access more choices for getting to work and other key destinations. Our mission is to make it easy for everyone across Puget Sound to walk, ride, or roll to Seattle's opportunities. And we envision a region where affordable and sustainable options are the best way for everyone to connect to the important places in their lives. Today's webinar is a part of our Commute University series. This is a series of virtual programs that is designed to inform and inspire transportation coordinators, HR and operations professionals, and really any champion of sustainable transportation benefits to level up your commute programs at your workplace. In this series, you will learn from a broad range of panelists about resources and strategies to help your team get to where they need to go without needing to drive alone. You can check out past lessons on our YouTube channel. And for today's lesson, we are bringing back one of our most rewatched Commute University topics, how to save money with Vanpool. We're really happy to be joined today by King County Metro's Vanpool team, Julie and Salam, who will be walking us through everything that you need to know about this incredible program, including how to get started and pricing options. For today's agenda, Julie will be covering all of the basics, including what a vanpool is, what's included, average cost. She'll also walk us through how to get started using the rideshare online tool for finding and joining existing vanpools. If you have any questions during the presentation, be sure to put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Salam from King County Metro will be answering questions as they come in, and we'll be having time at the end of the presentation to answer questions live as well. So be sure to add those questions throughout the presentation. Right. And before I turn it over to Julie for her presentation, I want to take a moment to talk about why providing Vanpool is a good option to include in your commute programs. And this is some data that we've pulled here from our most recent Seattle commute survey, where we survey 75,000 commuters who are coming to and through Seattle for work. And we see that Vanpool riders actually have the second longest commutes on average. They are traveling 25 miles from their home destination to their workplace. So Vanpool is a really good option for folks who have those long distance commutes. Also a really good option for work sites that don't have a lot of public transit options nearby. It's a flexible option, so working with your Vanpool group, you can set your own schedule of when you're leaving to work and leaving for your return trip. It's also a really affordable option. We know that driving alone is really expensive, and it's increasingly so. This is a screenshot here from a Seattle Times article last week showing that Seattle area average gas prices have hit a record high. And so if you're driving a long distance commute and you're paying out of pocket for gas, that is really adding up right now. So Vanpool is a good solution for continuing to have access to a vehicle, but lowering those costs by sharing the commute cost burden. It's also a trusted and communal commute. We know from several folks who do Vanpool that they really enjoy that time shared with fellow commuters in their van. And having that community can be a really great way to set the tone for your day or to end a stressful day as well. And I know Julie will cover a lot more reasons why Vanpool is a great option. I'm going to hand it over to her to share those with you now.
Thanks, Tara. Really appreciate that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Again, my name's Julie Peony, and my colleague Salam is here today. And we're with the King County Metro Vanpool program. Next slide, please. So we'll just get right into it. What is Vanpool? Here's some basic information. Vanpool is similar to carpooling, where commuters share the driving and the costs. It's a consistent group of 5 or more commuters who share a similar origin, destination, and work schedule. And the group includes at least 2 drivers and 1 bookkeeper, record keeper, who tracks the mileage and the ridership. And both the driver and the bookkeeper complete an online orientation to receive approval for that role and get information about filling that role. And our team that helps the group set up, we really encourage as many drivers as possible. It makes your group a lot more successful in case someone's sick or on vacation. It's nice to have several other backups or more options, and it's also nice for sharing the driving responsibility. And the group decides on the route, the work schedule, where to meet the group members, and with guidance and best practices from our Vanpool team. Typically, the van is parked at one of the driver's homes. Then the group would decide on, we recommend 1 or 2 pickup locations, usually a park and ride or a cross street, to meet everybody, and then everybody in the van drives to work. And the monthly fare covers everything. It covers the vehicle, the fuel card, the tolls, maintenance, insurance, and even an emergency ride home program. Next slide, please. We also have another program that connects commuters to other forms of public transportation. It's called VanShare. So VanShare is similar to Vanpool in the terms of the ridership requirement. You need 5. You also have to have 2 drivers and a bookkeeper. And it's the idea is to connect to the train, the ferry, the bus, even another Vanpool. And again, it also covers, the monthly fare covers all of the expenses, the vehicle. The group gets a fuel card, covers the maintenance, insurance, emergency ride home program. And then the group, because it's a shorter commute, they decide on what the route's going to be as well. So as I said, VanShare connects commuters with other forms of public transportation. So if commuters, they can either do it on their home end in their neighborhood, find 4 other people in their neighborhood to connect to a light rail station, a sounder train station, to a bus, and then they would get parking at that terminal. Most of our VanShares actually connect on the work site end, but we allow both options. So on the work site end, if you're taking, if your employees are taking the Sounder train into King Street and then going to South Lake Union, First Hill, that's where, or even down to Soto, that's where a lot of our VanShares have started, because that last link from the Sounder train to the bus sometimes is a little bit difficult. And so that's where a lot of our VanShares have started. So it's linking you to that next mode of public transportation. And in the destination end, it's whether you're traveling on the Sounder train, the light rail, the bus, and then you would hop into your van that would then go to your work site. And the maximum, it does have a mileage requirement because it's a shorter commute. So we have capped it at 10 miles one way or a 20-mile round trip commute. And in the past, some areas, we have seen that there was a lot of interest in VanShares, and so we were able to start multiple VanShares from the Sounder train to a work site, and then that just gives your employees more flexibility. If there's a van that meets the 7 a.m. train or the 7:30 train, then those employees could ride on another VanShare on occasion if they had a late meeting or an early, they needed to get home early. So that gives them more flexibility. And then the monthly cost for van share is a flat $200 per month, and that's split amongst the group. Or it could also be covered by an employer through the Orca Business Passport program. And so that's a fixed cost because it's a shorter commute. Next slide. So the Metro Vanpool program benefits both commuters and employers and the environment. So employees benefit, here's a couple of the employees benefiting. Employees can benefit because they save time by traveling in the HOV lanes and the toll lanes. So currently, we're covering all the toll lanes. So if your employees are coming across the 520 bridge, if they're traveling on the I-405 express toll lanes, if they're traveling in the State Route 99 tunnel, it's great because the Vanpool, that's part of the monthly fare. It's included. That's covered. So the Vanpoolers will save time because they can get into that HOV lane. A Vanpool also reduces stress by sharing the driving role. We said that the minimum is 2 drivers, but you can have as many drivers as possible. Sometimes we recommend to some groups that you have like at least 4 or 5 drivers. Maybe I could be the Monday driver, you could be the Tuesday driver, and it just kind of shares that driving role. And also, as Tara was mentioning, right now with gas costs, the fuel card is included. Employees can save money by not driving their vehicle and those parking fees to come into the city. So Vanpool, it's a very affordable option. And then also riding with other people. We've been around for 45 plus years, and we find that just the community aspect, it's more enjoyable. While you're not driving, you're a passenger one way or taking a break from driving, you can be in the van and catch up on personal time, checking your emails, texting, watching favorite show on your commute. And then also Vanpool is a reliable commute. You really you and your members, you are kind of in control of your commute. The idea is that you're going to stay on your schedule. If you work 7:30 to 4:30, 7:30 to 5, that's the time that the van's going to operate. So it's also a great option, so you know that you're going to get home on time, and it's very reliable. Next slide, please. So the benefits for the employer basically include employee retention. When you're offering a subsidized Vanpool benefit or a transportation benefit, it's in this region, it's really becoming kind of like healthcare. It's really a nice benefit to offer your employees, and so it does help to retain your employees. And also with Vanpools, the 5 or more participants, it helps to reduce demand for parking at your work site. So you're really utilizing that parking space. And then Vanpool helps reduce your carbon footprint and also reduces congestion in the Puget Sound region. And then sharing the ride creates happy employees. They come to work happier because their commute is shorter and also more enjoyable. Next slide, please. And so Metro cost, this is for the Vanpool program. As I mentioned, van share is $200 a month split amongst the group. The Metro Vanpool cost is really based on several factors. It's based on the distance of the commute, whether the group is going a 30-mile round-trip commute or a 50-mile round-trip commute or a 75-mile round-trip commute. And the other is the vehicle size. As you see in the slide there, that's our 7-passenger vehicle. We also have a 12 and a 15-passenger. And also whether or not the work schedule, we allow a 3-day work schedule all the way up to a 7-day work schedule. So all of those variables go to determining the monthly cost for the Vanpool, and that covers all those expenses that I mentioned, the fuel card, the vehicle maintenance. We do have a fare calculator on our website, which I forgot to include a slide, but we do have a fare calculator. And similar to kind of what Tara was saying, the average cost of our commute for Vanpool is around 45, 50-mile round trip commute. And usually the monthly fare is typical to a monthly bus pass, about $150 per person per month. So that's the average cost of a Vanpool fare. And then also we have various forms of payment. There's the Orca Business Passport Program. That's an annual pass program that that employers can purchase. And then also we accept credit cards and we even accept checks. Next slide, please. So basically, once you kind of talk about Vanpool, the next thing is like, well, how do I get started? What's the next step? So the next step is to find out, the easiest way is to join an existing van. And as I said, we've been around over 45 years, and we have about 950 vans in this region. And we have about 700 Vanpools commuting to Seattle, and 500 of them are commuting to the downtown area. So the easiest way for your employees is to join an existing van. And there's so many that are coming to this area that's a great way to get started. Next slide, please. So here's our website, kingcounty.gov/vanpool. And our website has a lot of great information. It has the basics about Vanpool, VanShare. It has resources for existing participants. It has information on how to join an existing van, how to start a new van. We also have a video. On the bottom right is the video. I think it's like 2 minutes long. It's kind of a nice video to kind of share with employees. You can put it on any digital displays, any emails, just kind of a 2-minute, like, what is Vanpool? And that's a great resource. And then our Vanpool team is also ready to assist you and your employees. We can start a van in 2 to 3 weeks, so it goes pretty quickly. And as I said, we have a team to help you and help your employees get started and starting a van. Next slide, please. So on the screen is really our 2 pathways on our website. If you previously on the screen, it said, what did it say? It says right under the what is a Vanpool, it said join or start a Vanpool, and then you would come to this screen. So the 2 pathways: find an existing van. The first thing is to figure out which vans are in my area. So basically, the employee would just put in their origin, destination, and click search, and then they would see a list of vans that they would match with, and then basically they would contact those groups and ask, is there a seat available? Ask the logistics. Where do you meet? What time? And then we offer a test ride program, and basically commuters can try out a van for free for up to 3 rides to kind of see if it's a good fit for them. If it works, then they can join the van either part-time or full-time, but it kind of gives them that kind of ability to test out the van, and they can do that multiple times with different groups. So that's kind of the steps 1 through 3. 1 through 3 for find an existing group. The other pathway is starting your own group. So commuters just need 5 people, and we have a lot of the information on what to do. Basically, once the group finds 5 people, then they would start the application process. Everyone just needs to fill out an individual program application. 1 person completes our group application, and then that signals to our Vanpool team. Then we start working with the group and then help them with best practices and help them set up their Vanpool. And on that pathway, I believe we have some links about recruiting if people needed to find more people. So all the information is there. Next slide, please. And so rideshareonline.com is another great resource for employee ride matching. And RideshareOnline.com is a free regional ride match system. It's owned by WashDOT, the state, and it's managed by our agency, King County Metro. That seat finder tool that I mentioned in the previous slide is really data from this platform. So it's a great resource. Basically, a lot of the transit agencies, Community Transit, King County Metro, Kitsap, we have all of our existing vans in the system. So it's a great way to find an existing van pool. And the system also has dashboard features and calculations for commute savings. It has a news feed. It has current incentives and calendar tracking. Next slide. And that was it. So wanted to thank everybody for your interest in Vanpool. And I just wanted to share some information from one of our, a response from one of our healthcare Vanpoolers. We asked the question, what makes your Vanpool experience so worth it? They said, I love that they said that the Vanpool was made them full of laughter, and that it was a great way to start their workday and simply to decompress on a busy workday on the way home. So this is just kind of one testimonial from one of our healthcare workers, and thanks again for your attention.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. That was a really resource-filled presentation, and we'll be sure to send out the slides following today's event so that folks can have that contact information, visit King County Vanpool's website, explore some of those tools for themselves. Before we move on to the Q&A section, I do want to call in some ways for you to promote vanpooling at your work sites. If you are ready to get started, or maybe you have an active Vanpool program, but it's time to dust it off and re-promote it. Here are 3 ways for transportation coordinators to promote Vanpooling to your workplace. So, number 1 tip is Vanpool royalty. So this is saving the best parking spots in your parking garage for vanpools and carpools. If you have parking that you own or can control any of those spaces, it's a huge incentive for folks to carpool and vanpool if the best spots are reserved for vanpooling and carpooling. So I'm talking about those spaces that are right next to the elevator. They're on the first floor of that parking garage. You don't have to drive up and up and up. So you're getting in and out of that garage faster. It's a big incentive for folks to take Vanpool. Second tip here is if you're not already enrolled in Orca Business Passport, enroll in this program. It is an incredible benefit and includes a lot of additional services beyond just your traditional bus route. As Julie mentioned, Vanpool is included at no extra charge for companies that have that standard area passport program. So definitely enroll in that program. And if you're already enrolled, promote Vanpool as a benefit to your employees. Let them know that they can join an existing van with that benefit. And then last tip here is to host a Vanpool match event. So Julie shared that there are 500 vans coming into downtown Seattle, 700 coming into Seattle. And so there's a lot of existing vans that are already moving across the city. So hosting an event to help people search and match for those vans is a great way to help people kind of, get across that first barrier, which is where are the vans going and how can I join one? All right. And so with that, we will move to our Q&A discussion. So if you've got some questions, now is the time to add those to the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. I am going to kick us off with a few questions that we had pre-submitted. First question is, Julie, for commuters who have those long distance commutes, who are traveling into Seattle, but they live outside of King County, let's say they're coming up from North Linwood, Snohomish County, how does that work with the King County Metro service? Can you talk us through that?
It's a great question. I forgot to mention that. So basically, our commuters, if you live or work in King County, you can start a van pool. So we have a lot, a lot of vans coming from Snohomish County because they're coming into Seattle. So because your work site is in Seattle, all of your employees can participate in Vanpool or start a Vanpool. Salam can definitely um, duplicate this, but we have a lot coming from, we used to have a lot from the east side. Now everybody's moved up north, coming from Bothell, Marysville, Monroe. So there's a lot of opportunity to come into Seattle.
Nice. Thank you. Another question here. I think this is about the difference between van pool and van share. So the question here is, can van pools be parked at park and rides? So like a park and ride at a light rail station.
So for a van pool, the benefit of van pooling is that you have the van for your whole commute. And so we also our preference is to keep the van at one of the driver's homes to reduce risk, to reduce liability. And so we really, that's what Salam and her team does as far as like figuring out the best spot to park the van overnight and on the weekends. We understand too, like in the city, sometimes that's really hard. And so that's something that our van pool team works with. We have cited park some vans at park and rides or transit centers because it's a central location. We really want to have the van parked at a driver's home in a central location so it's easy access to another driver. So, if the driver's sick or on vacation, it doesn't disrupt the commute. The commute continues, but it's not our first preference to park it at the transit center. That's really where van share is. You're connecting to that mode. So that's just something that our team works with the group on the logistics and providing, we kind of look at each group to see what's the best fit and option and meeting our program requirements.
That's great to hear. Thank you. All right, we've got two more questions here. So, what if I'm running late? Will the van pool skip me or wait for me?
It's a good question. It really depends on the group. Every group's different, and we really encourage them to come up with, their operating rules. Is your operating rule where, you meet at the park and ride and everyone synchronizes their watches and, they only wait 5 minutes after the time? Or do you have a messaging app to say, hey, I'm running a little bit late, can you wait? But it's really up to the group. But I will say that, the whole point of the van pool is to save you time and be reliable. And if you have somebody that's constantly late, that's really going to get old after a while. So I think that, setting those expectations is that, the van is meeting at this park and ride, and in 5 minutes we're going. And if that person misses the van pool, then that's really on them, and they're going to, maybe it's not the best fit. But I think the idea is that you want to keep the van running on those hours, and because everybody's just trying to get to work and they're just trying to get home, in the most efficient and cost effective way.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be that person making everybody else late and
Yeah.
get
I don't
get
want to be
booted
that
out of the
person.
pool. Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. Me neither. Okay, well, this is kind of related here. Our last question that we've got is, does everyone in a van pool have to go to the same workplace, or can there be multiple stops?
Oh, these are great questions. Yeah, so Vanpool is part of public transportation. I say it's the best kept secret because not a lot of people know about it. Again, it's part of the Orca Business Passport program that Tara had mentioned. And so I would say 30% of our van pools have commuters from different employers. So, depending on, if you can find people at your work site, that's great. Then they can all go to your work site. But a lot of our vans have, two or more commuters from different employers, and that's a great thing. So it just depends. Like if you're not in a densely populated area and you can't find people at your work site, that's where rideshareonline.com comes in. You can find people that are just a couple blocks away as a work site, or even a mile away, and it helps you connect with those people.
That's great to hear. And really nice for, yeah, folks who want to join a van pool but don't have a lot of other colleagues who are
Yep,
interested in joining or starting one. There's still an option for that
great.
person. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Julie and Salam, for your time answering all those questions. A lot of great information in here. As I mentioned, we will be sharing out the slides and the recording after this call that has your contact information. So if folks have more questions about how to get started, they can reach out to you both. Before we wrap up, I do want to highlight our next event coming up from Commute Seattle. So, if you didn't know, May is Bike Everywhere Month. So, we are celebrating all month long, but we'll be celebrating the end of Bike Everywhere Month with an event on Wednesday, May 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bell Street Park. This is our Bike Month send-off event. We'll be joined by partners from SDOT, as well as some community cycling groups. We'll have a bike mechanic on site to provide complimentary repairs. So if your brakes are rubbing, if your bike got a flat that day, come on by, get some free mechanic support, some free resources, and some free giveaways. This is open to everybody. So the commuters at your workplace, please share this with them. You can learn more by scanning the QR code or going to our events page. We've also got a flyer on our event listing that you can print off and share with your employees, post it in your bike room